Jessica stared at her phone for maybe 12 seconds before she made the decision. That would cost her $347 she didn't need to spend. She was buying concert tickets for her daughter's birthday, Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour she'd promised 6 months ago, back when tickets hadn't gone on sale yet, back when she thought she'd have time to plan, to budget, to do this right. But life happened. Work got busy, she forgot the on-sale date, and now here she was, 3 weeks before the show, scrolling through resale sites at 11:30 at night because her daughter had been talking about nothing else for months, and Jessica couldn't imagine looking her in the eye and saying she forgot. The ticket was listed at $628. Section 214, Row K. Not great seats, but real seats. Verified. Available now. Jessica hesitated. $628 for one ticket felt obscene. She refreshed the page. $693. The same seat. 30 seconds later, her stomach dropped. She was refreshed again. $741. She bought it. Right then. No thinking, no comparison, just panic and a credit card number and the sinking feeling that she'd just been robbed by something she couldn't see. 2 days later, her coworker mentioned she'd grabbed tickets to the same show. Same section. Row M, 2 rows back. $412. Jessica asked when she bought them. Yesterday morning, her coworker said. Around 10, I think? Jessica paid $329 more for a worse seat because she shopped at 11:30 p. M on a Wednesday instead of 10 a.m. on a Thursday, same show, same venue, same artist, different algorithms. And here's what keeps her up now. She buys maybe 6 events a year. Concerts, shows, her son's basketball games when they make regionals. If the system overcharged her by an average of $200 per purchase, and she has no reason to believe it didn't, that's $1,200 annually disappearing into pricing models she never knew were watching her. Over 10 years, that's $12,000. Over a lifetime, that's enough for a car, a kitchen renovation, a year of her daughter's college tuition. Gone. Not because the tickets cost more, because an algorithm decided she would pay more. My name is Williams, and I've spent the last 8 months studying how event ticketing platforms have turned every purchase into a silent auction where you're bidding against yourself and losing every time. If you've ever felt like ticket prices jump the moment you actually decide to buy, if you've suspected you're being charged more than someone else for the exact same seat but couldn't prove it, stay with me here. What I'm about to walk you through isn't about surge pricing during peak hours or holiday markups. This is about a pricing system that monitors your behavior in real time, builds a psychological profile of your urgency, and charges you the maximum amount it calculates you'll tolerate before abandoning the purchase. I call it demand-based repricing, and it's extracting wealth from your family on every transaction while making you believe the price you see is just what things cost right now. Here's the belief that's quietly draining your savings. You think the price on your screen reflects the value of the seat? You see $412 for a concert ticket, $89 for a theater show, $207 for a sporting event, and you assume that number represents market value. What people are willing to pay, what the seat is worth. It doesn't. That number is the output of a surveillance system that analyzed how you arrived at the page, what device you're using, your location, the time you're shopping, how many times you visited this listing, how long you lingered on other options, whether you checked competitor platforms, your scroll speed, your mouse movement patterns, and potentially hundreds of other behavioral signals you didn't know were being recorded. Then, it calculated the highest number it believes you specifically will accept right now in this emotional state before you close the browser and walk away. The price isn't about the seat. The price is about you, and the system understands your breaking point better than you do. A 2023 analysis published in the Journal of Revenue Management examined pricing behavior across major ticketing platforms and found that identical seats were being shown at price variations of up to 62, depending on user behavior signals. Buyers who demonstrated what researchers called high urgency indicators, repeated page visits, rapid scrolling, the short time between search and checkout were systematically quoted higher prices than casual browsers viewing the same inventory at the same moment. When Jessica's ticket jumped from 628 to 741 in under a minute, that wasn't random market fluctuation. That was the algorithm detecting hesitation, interpreting it as strong purchase intent, and raising the price to test her limit. She paid. The system learned. The next person who behaves like Jessica starts at an even higher baseline. Think about that. The scale of this becomes suffocating once you understand how widespread it's become. According to a 2024 industry report, over 91% of major event ticketing platforms now use some form of dynamic repricing, up from 42% in just 2017. This technology moved from airlines and hotels, where people expect fluctuation, into every category of live entertainment. Concert tickets, theater, sporting events, comedy shows, even local community theater productions are being sold through platforms that adjust pricing minute by minute. StubHub, Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, all of them run algorithms that change prices continuously throughout the day. A 2023 investigation by consumer advocacy groups found that the average ticket listing changed price 4.3 times per day, and high-demand events saw fluctuations every 18 to 37 minutes. When Beyoncé announced her Renaissance tour, fans reported seeing prices double between joining the queue and reaching the payment screen, a 14-minute window where the algorithm observed massive simultaneous demand and decided it could extract more. A congressional investigation later found that dynamic pricing during that sale increased average ticket costs by 41% compared to what fixed pricing would have generated. 0% of that increase went to the artist. It went to the platform. It came directly out of your bank account because you wanted to see a show, and the system knew you wanted it badly enough to pay whatever number flashed on the screen. The data collection infrastructure behind this repricing is where it shifts from frustrating to invasive. When you visit a ticketing site, the platform immediately captures your IP address, which reveals your geographic location and internet provider, which correlates with median income data for your area. It identifies your device. A 2022 audit by privacy researchers caught multiple platforms showing higher prices to users on Apple devices than to users on Android or Windows for identical seats. Same event, same section, different operating system, different price. The algorithm learned that Apple users, on average, purchase higher priced options, so it tests inflated numbers on anyone browsing from an iPhone or MacBook. Your browsing patterns are tracked through cookies and behavioral fingerprinting. If you've been looking at premium seating options, the system infers purchasing power and shows you elevated prices. If you visited competitor sites first, it knows your comparison shopping and might lower the number slightly to win the sale. If you return to the same listing 3 times, it knows you're committed and can risk showing you a higher price because you've already demonstrated intent. The time of day you shop matters. Data from consumer behavior studies shows that ticket prices are systematically higher late at night and on weekends, when buyers are less price sensitive and more driven by emotional urgency. If you're shopping at 11:30 p.m. like Jessica, the algorithm knows you're likely stressed, short on time, and more susceptible to pressure. If you're a returning customer, your entire purchase history feeds a predictive model. Do you buy premium or budget seats? Do you purchase immediately or wait for price drops? Do you abandon carts or commit on your first visit? Every behavior builds a profile that determines what you see next time. And some platforms are integrating third-party data to enhance targeting. Data aggregators sell information about estimated household income, family size, spending patterns, and even credit scores compiled from public records and commercial databases. A 2023 inquiry found evidence that certain platforms were testing pricing models that factored in estimated financial capacity, creating a system where wealthier buyers systematically paid more for identical inventory. This isn't illegal price discrimination because they're not explicitly using protected categories like race or religion, but it's economic profiling at an industrial scale, and you're the target. Here's where it gets psychologically darker, because the manipulation isn't accidental, it's architected. Algorithms generate artificial scarcity and urgency cues engineered to bypass rational decision making and force immediate purchases. The only 3 tickets left at this price warning. The countdown timer saying your hold expires in 9 minutes, the notification that 42 people are viewing this event right now. A 2023 study in behavioral economics found that artificial urgency signals increased purchase rates by 38%, even when participants were explicitly informed the scarcity was likely fabricated. Knowing its manipulation doesn't neutralize its effect. The algorithm manufactures a crisis that doesn't exist, you panic, and you pay more than you would have if you'd had time to think clearly. You never find out if the scarcity was real because once you complete the purchase, the game ends. The system is designed to make you feel like you're about to lose something, the good price, the last seat, the chance to make your daughter happy, and that fear overrides everything else. Jessica refreshed the page and watched the number climb. Her brain screamed that she was losing money with every second of delay, so she bought at $741. The algorithm won. It always wins because it processes faster than your prefrontal cortex, and it doesn't experience decision fatigue. Now, I already know the response. Williams, this is just supply and demand. Markets should reflect what people will pay. If you don't like it, don't buy it. I understand that instinct. But here's what that argument misses. Demand-based repricing isn't a market. It's asymmetric information warfare where only one side has intelligence. In a functional market, buyers and sellers operate with roughly comparable information. You know, approximate market rates, sellers know their costs, and price emerges from negotiation. Demand-based pricing eliminates negotiation entirely. You don't know if the price you're seeing is the lowest available, the highest the algorithm believes you'll tolerate, or somewhere in between. You have no reference point. You can't haggle with an algorithm. You either accept the number it calculated for you based on surveillance you didn't consent to, or you walk away and try elsewhere, which you probably can't, because every platform runs the same playbook. The power imbalance is absolute. You're negotiating blind against an opponent that sees everything. Here's what you do to stop funding the platform's quarterly targets. First, accept that every ticket price you see online is personalized until proven otherwise. The number on your screen isn't the market price. It's the price for you right now, based on what the system has inferred about your behavior and financial capacity. Once you internalize this, you stop impulse buying and start treating every purchase as adversarial. Second, browse in incognito or private mode whenever you shop for tickets. This prevents the site from accessing your browsing history and previous visits, which are primary inputs for price inflation. Use a VPN to mask your location, especially if you live in an affluent area where algorithms assume higher willingness to pay. Clear cookies after every session. Install browser extensions that track price history and alert you when you're looking at an inflated listing. These tools aren't perfect, but they restore some visibility to a system designed to keep you blind. Third, manipulate the urgency signals in reverse. When you see a countdown timer or scarcity warning, open the same listing in an incognito window and check if the warning appears there. Often, it won't. The scarcity was personalized to pressure you based on your browsing pattern. If possible, close the browser and check back in 12 to 24 hours. Dynamic pricing algorithms frequently lower prices for users who abandoned without buying because the system interprets cart abandonment as price resistance. Fourth, learn timing patterns for the events you attend regularly. Ticket prices are typically lowest on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings and highest on Friday evenings and Sunday nights. Major concert announcements trigger immediate price spikes that often moderate after 72 hours once initial demand stabilizes. Playoff and championship sporting events see the steepest inflation during the final week before the event. Shift your purchase timing and save real money. Fifth, document and publicize when you catch it. Screenshot price differences. Share them, tag the platforms. When Ticketmaster faced public backlash over dynamic pricing during major tour sales, artists including Bruce Springsteen pressured the company to implement pricing caps. When ticketing platforms were exposed showing different prices to different users for identical seats, some adopted more transparent pricing structures after regulatory scrutiny. Individual complaints disappear. Organized consumer pressure forces platforms to pretend they care about fairness. Right now, you think you're a responsible buyer because you compare options before purchasing. You feel diligent because you look for deals and check multiple sites. That narrative makes you feel in control. But there's another way to see what's actually happening. Every time you shop for tickets online, you're entering a negotiation where the other party sees your emotional state, knows the statistical probability of every outcome, and can change the terms mid-conversation without disclosure. You think you're comparing prices, but you're only comparing the prices the algorithm decided to show you based on its assessment of your desperation. You think you're getting a fair deal, but you have no idea what the actual lowest available price was because that information is hidden by design. Jessica thought she was buying a concert ticket. She was actually feeding behavioral data into a machine learning model that calculated her emotional urgency and extracted $329 more than it charged her coworker for a worse seat. She'll never recover that money. She'll never even know how many other times it happened because the system ensures you can't see what you're losing. Demand-based pricing isn't making ticket markets more efficient. It's making your lack of information more profitable. The invisible hand isn't setting prices through supply and demand anymore. An invisible algorithm is setting prices through behavioral surveillance and psychological manipulation. And it's extracting wealth from you every single time you click purchase without understanding that the game is structured against you. You're not a customer making informed decisions. You're a behavioral data point being optimized for maximum revenue extraction. The algorithm doesn't care if you feel exploited afterward. It already has your money, and you have no recourse because you agreed to pay the price you saw. You can keep participating in a system where you can't see the rules and the other player reads your psychological state in real time, or you can start assuming every number on every screen is inflated until you prove otherwise. Browsing anonymously, abandoning carts strategically, checking obsessively across devices and time windows, refusing to believe that urgency timers and scarcity warnings are anything but manipulation designed to make you pay more than necessary. The algorithm isn't neutral. It isn't working for you. It exists to extract as much money from you as possible while making you believe you chose to spend it. I've spent too much time thinking about this so you don't have to. If this changed how you see that number on your screen next time you buy tickets, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.